Vijnana Yoga, knowledge of the absolute. Jnana, Vijnana Yoga. We saw Karma Yoga, Jnana Karma Yoga, Jnana Karma Sannyas Yoga. This is Jnana Vijnana Yoga. That means putting the knowledge in practice. And for that, hearing is very important. And Lord emphasizes on hearing in the first verse of 7th chapter itself. Without hearing, the knowledge cannot be put into practice. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjanmadashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Gyasadi Tashrunu. Tashrunu, that means you hear. Shrunu. In this way, Lord emphasizes that hear about me, Tat. Tat means that. Tat means that absolute truth. Hear about me. Mai asakta mana. Mai asakta mana. Have the mind attached to me, the Lord says. O Partha, Yogam Yunjan Madashraya. This is Yogam. What is the Yogam? Self-realization. Practice self-realization. How? By taking my shelter. Madashraya. One can understand about himself only when he surrenders to Lord. Assumption, there is no doubt. Samagram. In this way, come out from all the doubt. Completely free yourself from doubt. Lord is a person. Which doubt people have? Oh, Lord is impersonal or personal? Lord is person. That is why hear about me. So in this chapter, the nature of Krishna consciousness is very nicely described. Lord is a person. Okay. So Sonal, read the first verse. Gyan.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Chapter number 7, Jnana Vijnana Yoga, knowledge of the absolute. Text number 1. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Maya Sakta Manaha Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Gnasyasi Tachrunu. Translations and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charna Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Purport. In this 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described herein. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit soul capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. At the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahma Jyotir or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge beyond any doubts. Different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahma Jyotir and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and the manifestations with paraphernalia. One should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Tat Shrunu, or hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna. And therefore, by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly or from a pure devotee of Krishna and not from a non devotee upstart puffed up with academic education. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the second chapter of the first canto as follows. शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदयन्तःस्थो य अभद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सताम् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी तदा रजस्तमो भावाः कामलोभादयश्च ये चेत एतैरनाविद्धं स्थितं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवद्भक्ति योगतः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते मीड्यते हृदयग्रन्थिश्छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयाः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of asamshayam samagram, understanding of the supreme absolute truth personality of Godhead as per Bhagavatam 1.2.17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. Thank you, Hari Krishna.
So this Shrunotam Swakata Krishna till Evatman Ishware, Prabhupada has put even in Markine Bhagavad. Very important. This is the stage from hearing onwards. What happens when you hear? Adau Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu Sangha, Anartha Nivrutti. So in this way, one attains Nishtha, Anartha Bhajana Kriya. These are 9 stages, na? What are the 9 stages? Adau Shraddha. Then Tatha Sadhu Sangha. Then Bhajana Kriya. You have to write down 9 stages. Adau Shraddha. Then comes Sadhu Sangha. Tatha Sadhu Sangha. When you have Shraddha, naturally you have Shraddha not towards the sadhu now, you had Shraddha with your friend. He introduced you to Krishna consciousness, you had faith. That faith was very komal, not very strong, but at least somebody told, oh, there is a doctor here, why don't you go? Then you have not seen the doctor, right? But you have faith in your friend. So you went to the doctor. So what the doctor will do? Bhajana Kriya. Operation, that means giving you medicine, checking you. Bhajana Kriya. Then comes Anartha Nivrutti. In this way, all the Anartha slowly washes away. So where are we now? So when the Bhajana Kriya starts, Anartha Nivrutti happens. The more the Anarthas go away, once Shraddha becomes strong. Now it is no more Komala Shraddha. Even though you are insulted, even though you are scolded by your spiritual master, you don't go away from him. Even though the doctor sometimes thrashes you, you will not leave the doctor. So the Shraddha became strong, that becomes Nishtha. Till here is our endeavor. Till here one has to endeavor. You say something, you make a big face, you go away. You are so strong now. Your faith is so strong that you are ready to hear. But till here, if you do this, if we come to the stage of Nishtha, then Krishna's Anugrah starts. And what is that? Ruchi. The taste is there only in Krishna. Ruchi. Asakti. The love is there only for Lord. Asakti. Ruchi, Asakti. Then comes Bhava. Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. And that Prema is more intensified when it is love in separation. Vipralamba Prema. These are the 10 stages in devotional service. Now see here. Shunatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaya. The moment you hear about Lord, Hridayantastoya Bhadrani Vidunoti Suhasatam. Abhadras go away. There is Bhajana Kriya started. Abhadras go. In this way, Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So in this way, Nishtha. The Abhadras go the Naishtiki, na? Nishtha. The stage of Nishtha has been spoken. When Nishtha is there, next stage is what? Ruchi. So tada rajastamo bhava kamalo bhadayasche. So now this rajastama, because of that, we had multiple tastes. Now the taste has gone. That material taste has gone. Instead of that, chete terna vidham sitam satve prasidati. Which taste has come? Sadoguna taste has come. Satve. Which sattva? Vishuddha sattva. Not just ordinary sattva. Vishuddha sattva. And then our asakti also increases. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatah bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangha sajayate. Asakti increases. Bhava increases. And in this way, prema is developed. Vidyate hridaye kantischidhyante sarva samshaya. All the samshaya goes away. Doubts goes away. If doubt is there, one cannot progress in devotional service. Like you cannot have doubt on 3 people. Your mother, your guru, your doctor. The moment you have, and 4, your lawyer. Generally it is said, your mother, your guru, your doctor, and your lawyer. You have to have faith. If you don't have faith, faith is the only thing by which the whole world is running. Like you're going to a beauty parlor. The men go to the salon. The person has a knife in his hand. If you have doubt, oh, he's going to cut my nose. Oh, he's going to cut my neck. How are we going? So somewhere this samshaya should be removed. If samshaya is there, samshaya atma vinashyati. He will always be frustrated. You have to have faith. Shiyante chasa karmani drishtevatmani shre. Then only Krishna, one can see Krishna. If you have faith, if you have no faith in your guru, if you have doubt in your own people, then will the life be peaceful? Husband goes to the office. If the wife sits and has a doubt, oh, in the office ladies are also working. Oh, my husband has some affair. The same way, if somebody has a doubt, if my wife has some affair, he can never be peaceful. These doubts will only kill a person within and spread negative atmosphere everywhere. In the same way, one cannot have doubt in Krishna, nor his guru, nor in the institution. Institution is made up of people. If some negative happens in the institution, we cannot blame ISKCON. We cannot blame Srila Prabhupada. We cannot blame our acharyas. Something wrong happens in your family. Will you blame your mother or father? Now brothers, they fight. Will you say, iska jeans kahan se aaya? Teri maa se aaya. Will you blame the mother? So the root cannot be blamed if the fruits are not proper. There may be multiple reasons for it. The fruits may not be good. It may be bitter. Sometimes a snake climbs the tree, then the fruit becomes bitter. The roots are not responsible for that. So enviousness enters the heart of the people. So father and mother cannot be blamed for it. Prabhupada cannot be blamed for the activities which may be happening something wrong. It doesn't, not necessary. It may happen, may not happen, but Prabhupada cannot be blamed. ISKCON cannot be blamed. Anybody speaks anything about ISKCON, take a chappal and beat him. Really. Why? Because ISKCON is made up of Prabhupada's blood, Prabhupada's hard work. He did such an hard work for his guru. So something wrong, always understand one example. The tree is there, the roots are good. Snake has climbed, enviousness spreads. Simple. If the snake of enviousness enters our heart, we fight with each other. Prabhupada should not be blamed for it. ISKCON should not be blamed for it. So here it is very clearly said, samshaya, never have samshaya. Samshayatma vinashyati. Now let us see. Jnanam teham savignanam dam vakshyam visheshatah. Yajgyatva neha bhutonyaj gyatavyam avashishyate. Jnanam te aham savijnanam. I am going to speak to you about knowledge, at the same time about numinous knowledge. One is phenomenal knowledge, that is jnana. Jnana means, you can say, the understanding the difference between the body, that is matter, soul, and God. And what is vijnanam? Putting that in practice. One is bookish knowledge, one is applied knowledge. Like the science is studied in the class, and the same science is applied in the laboratory. So vijnanam makes us understand the knowledge better. So Vakshyami, I'm going to explain this, Asheshataha, in full. And after this, Jnana, after understanding this in full, na iha bhuyaha anyad jnatva avashishyate. There is nothing left to be known in this material world. We try to know many things, isn't it? You know Krishna, that is enough. You know this knowledge, that is enough. When I say I should know Krishna, that means I should know 5 activities of Krishna. His name, his form, his qualities, his devotees, his leelas. Sometimes we can never understand the devotees, their ways, their thought processes, their actions. It is not so easy to understand by our mundane intelligence. Kriya Mudra, it is very clearly said. Kriya Mudra Bachana, we cannot understand about the great devotees. Never we should analyze also the great devotees with our mundane intelligence. Who is a great devotee who works 100% for Lord? We have no rights to comment on them. 100% is for Lord, isn't it? So we should understand, if we are completely under the shelter of our acharyas, it is so wonderful. The same knowledge can be understood. Vijnana cannot be understood by our own endeavor. The knowledge can be understood only when we follow the Guru Shishya Parampara. Okay, Priya, read.
Hare Krishna. Jnanam te aham sa vijnanam idam vakshami asheshata yajnatva neha nyattvayam avashishyate. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Purport: complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of both of them. This is transcendental knowledge. The Lord wants to explain the above mentioned system of knowledge because Arjuna is Krishna's confidential devotee and friend. In the beginning of the fourth chapter, this explanation was given by Lord, and it is again confirmed here. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord in disciplic succession directly from the Lord. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes, and the only object for meditation in all types of yoga practice. When the cause of all causes becomes known, then everything knowable becomes known, and nothing remains unknown. The Vedas, Mundaka Upanishad 1.3 says, Kasmin o bhagavo vijñate sarvam idham vijñatvam bhavatiti. Hare Krishna.
भूमिरापोनलो वायु sorry sorry third verse no? Third verse मनुष्याणां सहस्रेषु कश्चिद्यतति सिद्धये यततामपि सिद्धानां कश्चिन्मां वेत्ति तत्त्वतः. Sometimes you feel na we begin one program, there are so many people who come, and slowly they reduce, or we try to call many people, we practically distribute so many handbills, out of that only some people come. Why? Krishna has told, no, what we can do. Manushyanam sahasreshu, out of 1,000, one will endeavor for perfection. And then among those also 1,000, one will come to know about the absolute truth. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam. Among that also, another 1,000. One will know me. That means among 1 lakh, one will try to know Krishna. That means 1 lakh handbill you put. Initially, many will join. After that, one will be left. Try to know Lord in full. Okay. So I'll read.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandavat Pranam. Text number 3. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvatah. Translations and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Purport. There are various grades of men, and out of many thousands, one may be sufficiently interested in transcendental realization to try to know what is the self, what is the body, and what is the absolute truth. Generally, mankind is simply engaged in the animal propensities, namely eating, sleeping, defending, and mating, and hardly anyone is interested in transcendental knowledge. The first 6 chapters of the Gita are meant for those who are interested in transcendental knowledge, in understanding the self, the super self, and the process of realization by Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and discrimination of the self from matter. However, Krishna can be known only by persons who are in Krishna consciousness. Other transcendentalists may achieve impersonal Brahman realization, for this is easier than understanding Krishna. Krishna is the supreme person, but at the same time, he is beyond the knowledge of Brahman and Paramatma. The yogis and jnanis are confused in their attempts to understand Krishna. Although the greatest of the impersonalists, Sripad Shankaracharya, has admitted in his Gita commentary that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, his followers do not accept Krishna as such, for it is very difficult to know Krishna, even though one has transcendental realization of impersonal Brahman. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the primeval Lord Govinda, Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarva Karana Karanam. It is very difficult for the non-devotees to know him. Although non-devotees declare that the path of bhakti or devotional service is very easy, they cannot practice it. If the path of bhakti is so easy as the non-devotee class of men proclaim, then why do they take up the difficult path? Actually, the path of bhakti is not easy. The so-called path of bhakti practiced by unauthorized persons without knowledge of bhakti may be easy, but when it is practiced factually according to the rules and regulations, the speculative scholars and philosophers fall away from the path. Srila Rupa Goswami writes in his Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpatayaiva Kalpate. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Narad Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. It is not possible for the Brahman realized impersonalist or the Paramatma realized yogi to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the son of Mother Yashoda or the charioteer of Arjuna. Even the great demigods are sometimes confused about Krishna. Muhyanti yat suryaha, mam tu veda na kaschana. No one knows me as I am, the Lord says. And if one does know him, then sa mahatma sudurlabha. Such a great soul is very rare. Therefore, unless one practices devotional service to the Lord, one cannot know Krishna as he is, tattvataha, even though one is a great scholar or philosopher. Only the pure devotees can know something of the inconceivable transcendental qualities in Krishna, his being the cause of all causes, his omnipotence and opulence, and his wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, because Krishna is benevolently inclined to his devotees. He is the last word in Brahman realization, and the devotees alone can realize him as he is. Therefore, it is said, Atah Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavedrahyam indriyaihi sevonmukhe hi jihvadau swayam eva spurati adaha. No one can understand Krishna as he is by the blunt material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.234. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
भूमिरापो नलो वायु खं मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकारितीयं मे भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टदा. Till now we saw Guhya Jnana, right? What is Guhya Jnana? The knowledge of the difference between soul and body. Now, Guhya Tara Jnana. How is this body made up of? That is Guhya Tara. Means more explanation about this Jnana. This body is made up of basically 8 separated material energies. There are 24 elements, but 8 important has been spoken. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Bhumi, apaha, analaha, vayu, kham. Bhumi means earth, apaha means water, anala means fire, and vayu means air, earth, water, fire, then air and ether. Bhumira, ponano, vayu, kham. Kham means ether. Manaha, buddhi, evacha, ahankara. So 5 gross and 3 subtle has been spoken. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. And then man, buddhi, ahankara. In this way, they are my separated prakriti, separated energy. So this is known as Guhya Tara. Tara means more knowledge about the matter. When we see ourselves in the mirror, actually what we are seeing, that the form taken by earth, water, fire, air, ether. But how many of us really know our body is made up of earth, water, fire? Are we seeing that? We are saying, oh, I'm looking so beautiful, my eyes are so beautiful, my lips are so beautiful, this and that. But technically, everybody's body is made up of these 5 gross. And then we have knowledge gaining senses, we have working senses, sense objects. That is all. Basically, what? Basically, is this 5 gross elements and 3 subtle elements. Other 15, what we see, that is what? Sense objects, knowledge gaining senses. Then working senses. Okay. Okay. Now read. Dia read.
Hare Krishna. भूमिरपो अनलो वायु खं मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकार इतीयं मे भिन्न प्रकृतिरष्टधा earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these eight constitute my separated material energies. Purport: the science of God analyzes the constitutional position of God and his diverse energies. Material nature is called Prakriti or the energy of the Lord in his different Purusha incarnation expansions as described in Satvata Tantra. विष्णोस्तु त्रीणि रूपाणि पुरुषाख्यानि अथो विदुः एकं तु महता शास्त्र द्वितीयं त्वण्डसंस्थितं तृतीयं सर्वभूतास्थं तानि ज्ञात्वा विमुच्यते. For material creation, Lord Krishna's plenary expansion assumes three Vishnus. The first one, Mahavishnu, creates the total material energy known as Mahat Tattva. The second, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, enters into all the universe to create diversities in each of them. The third, Shirodakshai Vishnu, is diffused as the all-pervading supersoul in all the universes and is known as Paramatma. He is present even within the atoms. Anyone who knows these three Vishnu can be liberated from the material entanglement. This material world is a temporary manifestation of one of the energies of the Lord. All the activities of the material world are directed by these three Vishnu expansion of Lord Krishna. These Purushas are called incarnations. Generally, one who does not know the science of God, Krishna, assumes that this material world is for enjoyment of the living entities, and that living entities are the Purushas and the causes Purushas, the causes, controller, and the enjoyer of the material energy. According to Bhagavad Gita, this aesthetic conclusion is false. In the verse under discussion, it is stated that Krishna is the original cause of the material manifestation. Srimad Bhagavatam also confirms this. The ingredients of the material manifestation are separated energies of the Lord. Even the Brahma Jyoti, which is the ultimate goal of the impersonalists, is a spiritual energy manifested in the spiritual sky. There are no spiritual diversities in the Brahma Jyoti as there are in the Vaikuntha Lokas, and the impersonalist accepts this Brahma Jyoti as the ultimate eternal goal. The Paramatma manifestation is also a temporary, all-pervasive aspect of the Shirodakshai Vishnu. The Paramatma manifestation is not eternal in the spiritual world. Therefore, the factual absolute truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. He is the complete energetic person and he possesses different separated and internal energies. In the material energy, the principal manifestations are eight, as above mentioned. Out of these, the first five manifestations, namely earth, water, fire, air, and sky, are called the five gigantic creations or the gross creation, within which the five sense objects are included. They are the manifestations of physical sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. Material science comprises these 10 items and nothing more. But the other three items, namely mind, intelligence, and false ego, are neglected by the materialists. Philosophers who deal with the mental activities are also not perfect in knowledge because they do not know the ultimate source, Krishna. The false ego, I am and it is mine, which constitute the basic principle of material existence, includes 10 sense organs for material activities. Intelligence refers to the total material creation called the Mahat Tattva. Therefore, from the 8 separated energies of the Lord are manifest the 24 elements of the material world, which are the subject matter of Sankhya aesthetic philosophy. They are originally offshoots from Krishna's energies and are separated from him, but the aesthetic Sankhya philosophers with a poor fund of knowledge do not know Krishna as the cause of all causes. The subject matter for discussion in the Sankhya philosophy is only the manifestation of the external energy of Krishna as it is described in Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Next. But beyond this, Krishna says, this is this is inferior energy, which has no chetana. But beyond this, there is a superior energy. What is that? Jiva. How is this body is made up of? One is inferior energy, and inside who is there? A superior energy. That is Jivatma. अपरेयम इतस्त्वन्याम प्रकृतिम विद्धि मे पराम जीवभूताम महाबाहो येदम धार्यते जगत. Now Jiva is also Prakriti only. But in that Prakriti, this is superior Prakriti. Prakriti means which is enjoyed by Lord. And Lord is Bhuktaram. So Lord is Purushaha, other everything is Prakriti. So in that Prakriti, there is inferior Prakriti and superior Prakriti. Okay, so I'll read.
Hare Krishna, text number 5. अपरेयम् इतस्त्वन्यां प्रकृतिं विधि मे परां जीवभूतां महाबाहो ययेदं धार्यते jagat. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. Purport. Here it is clearly mentioned that living entities belong to the superior nature or energy of the Supreme Lord. The inferior energy is matter manifested in different elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Both forms of material nature, namely gross, which is earth, etc., and subtle, which is mind, etc., are products of the inferior energy. The living entities who are exploiting these inferior energies for different purposes are the superior energy of the Supreme Lord. And it is due to this energy that the entire material world functions. The cosmic manifestation has no power to act unless it is moved by the superior energy, which is the living entity. Energies are energies are always controlled by the energetic, and therefore the living entities are always controlled by the Lord. They have no independent existence. They are never equally powerful as unintelligent men think. The distinction between the living entities and the Lord is described in Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. अपरिमिता अपरिमिता ध्रुवस्तनुभृतो यदि सर्वगतास् तर्हि न साक्ष्यतेति नियमो ध्रुवनेतरथा अजनी च यन्मयं तद् अविमुच्य नियन्त्र भवेत् समम् अनुजानतां यद् अमतं मत दुष्टतया. O Supreme Eternal, if the embodied living entities were eternal and all pervading like you, then they would not be under your control. But if the living entities are accepted as minute energies of your lordship, then they are at once subject to your supreme control. Therefore, real liberation entails surrender by the living entities to your control, and that surrender will make them happy. In that constitutional position only can they be controllers. Therefore, men with limited knowledge who advocate the monistic theory that God and the living entities are equal in all respects are actually guided by a faulty and polluted opinion. The Supreme Lord Krishna is the only controller, and all the living entities are controlled by him. These living entities are his superior energy because the quality of their existence is one and the same with the Supreme, but they are never equal to the Lord in quantity of power. While exploiting the gross and subtle inferior energy or matter, the superior energy, which is the living entity, forgets his real spiritual mind and intelligence. This forgetfulness is due to the influence of matter upon the living entity. But when the living entity becomes free from the influence of the illusory material energy, he attains the stage called as mukti or liberation. The false ego, under the influence of material illusion, thinks, I am matter and material acquisitions are mine. His actual position is realized when he is liberated from all material ideas, including the conception of his becoming one in all respects with God. Therefore, one may conclude that the Gita confirms the living entity to be only one of the multi energies of Krishna. And when this energy is freed from material contamination, it becomes fully Krishna conscious or liberated. Hare Krishna.
Hmm. Krishna consciousness is real liberation. Somebody asked Prabhupada, what is liberation? Prabhupada said, working Krishna consciousness. And there is liberation. Because you understand your real position, there is liberation. Niti Tvannitha Rupam Sarupena Vivasiti. The last verse, because I have to start Hindi class today. Etadyonini bhutani sarvani ityupadharya aham krishnasya sagataha prabhava pralayasthatha. So there are two types. They have two natures actually. The created beings have two natures. Etad yonini, two natures, bhutani. Every living entity which is created has two natures. One is material and one is spiritual. But Lord says, I am the origin for everyone. Aham krishnasya jagataha. I am the source of all this manifestation and even the dissolution. Okay, they are real. So Krishna, for both type of living entities, one is Shara Jiva, Akshara Jivas. Shara, one is in the material world, one is in the spiritual world, Akshara Jiva. Lord is the source for everyone. Real.
Hare Krishna. एतद्योनीनि भूतानि सर्वाणीति उपधारय अहं कृष्णस्य जगतः प्रभवः प्रलयस्तथा. All created beings have their source in these two natures. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. Purport. Everything that exists is a product of matter and spirit. Spirit is the basic field of creation and matter is created by spirit. Spirit is not created by at a certain stage of material development. Rather, this material world is manifested only on the basis of spiritual energy. This material body is developed because spirit is present within matter. A child grows gradually to boyhood and then to manhood because that spiritual energy, spirit soul, is present. Similarly, the entire cosmic manifestation of the gigantic universe is developed because of the presence of Super Soul Vishnu. Therefore, spirit and matter which combine to manifest this gigantic universal form are originally two energies of the Lord, and consequently the Lord is the original cause of everything. A fragmental part and parcel of the Lord, namely the living entity, may be the cause of a big skyscraper, a big factory, or even a big city, but he cannot be the cause of a big universe. The cause of the big universe is the big soul or the super soul, and Krishna, the Supreme, is the cause of both big and small souls. Therefore, he is the original cause of all causes. This is confirmed in Katha Upanishad. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. He is always eternal and he knows everything. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll meet on Wednesday. Panchakalpatarubhasya Sindhubhyavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavi Namo. वैष्णव वृंद की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। You are not able to close.